YouTube, what is going on? PPS here, back on Past the Prop NBA. And as you can see, we have not just me and Monotone, we got a special guest in the house. We got my guy, VMoneySports. How we doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me. You guys joined me on the NBC Twitter Spaces last week. It was a success, especially Darren Fox, hat tip monotone. Excited to be back. Give out some winners today. Let's go 2-0 on my plays and 2-0 on your guys' too.
Yeah, we'd love to get a sweep. Monotone, how you doing? I saw you had a good football week too, following off the Past the Prop NFL. I saw you killed it this week.
Yeah, man, another good week. I actually just put up an NFL video for this week already over on my YouTube too. I wanted to save it for Past the Prop, but I don't think it's going to make it that long. I told the people there I got the hat on for good luck. Haven't lost with the hat on once. So we're going to keep it going. Additionally, if you guys haven't noticed, I've got my normal hoodie on, but I do have the suit jacket over it because we do have Vaughn here. I do have to, he's an NBC guy. He gets the big bucks. I gotta look good. So I've got the suit jacket. Yep.
Yeah, you guys look nice. I'm just out here trying to put as much of my Wisconsin stuff on here. We got the Bucks rolling, got the Brewers and Packers in the back, like always. Huge game this week for the Packers, so I'm nervous. I hate playing the Niners, dude. They're tough for us. They're always tough.
I like the Pack. I got them on money line parlays, Packers and Bucks money line parlay.
Ooh,
already booked.
Yeah, a nice little rematch with Brady and Lambeau. Oh, that'll sell some tickets. Yeah. That'll sell some tickets.
That's what I want to see.
Beautiful. So we're just going to run through our quick recap from last week. We got a couple plays in here that we almost hit the big one. We almost hit our triple-double one. I was so close. I needed Russ so bad. Kuzma, 20.5. I believe he had 18?
Yeah, he had 19, but luckily this was actually a huge one, though, because everyone in my community, we noticed that he was going for the triple-double, so we got in on over 7.5 and 8.5 live assists, so that was great. Nice. We did real double up on Kuzma that day, even though he fell short at 19 points. The guy was not going to score that night, but that's okay.
Yeah, and I rolled with my boy Chuma. He had 4 rebounds in the first half. I think he got 1 rebound the entire second half because another man on triple-double alert was Cole Anthony, who I had, who just went berserk. I ended up having his PRA, I think, at 30-something. The dude had 19, 12, and I think 9 assists.
Yeah.
He grabbed 13 rebounds. When have I ever seen him do that? I don't know.
He's fantasy MVP if you got him in any of your fantasy leagues, because I got him 7th round. Steal of a lifetime.
Yeah, he's on fire right now. We had obviously – you dropped De'Aaron Fox for us here and on NBC Spaces. So that one was an easy cash for you guys. And I had DeJounte Murray. That was my biggest play of the night. And the dude crushed. He had 15 rebounds, 10 assists, or might have been flipped. I think he had 15 assists and 10 rebounds. He grabbed the last rebound with 14 seconds left on a free throw miss that literally meant nothing to the game. But he got his triple-double. Murray and Embiid, Murray killed it for us. Embiid had another, it wasn't even a big night for him, but he had 30 points. So
yeah, just another day for the MVP, right?
Yeah, too easy for him. And then my MVP was Mr. Marvin Bagley, cashing me a 4X FanDuel win last Wednesday. No one had it. I had Bagley and Metu in the same lineup, both dropping 40 pieces. So that was a huge, huge win for me there. And then we were super, super close. Westbrook decided to shoot bricks all game, and I don't even think he got 10 points. So, not great. And I think Embiid one hit, Dinwiddie didn't, right?
Yeah, Embiid ended up 18 points, just shy. It's okay. We'll win it back this week, They can't win every week. That's fine.
Yeah, bookies got to get their money sometime. We can't just keep stealing it from them, right? So while we're here, might as well just jump right into you right away. Vaughn, we'll drop your play first. We'll have you start us off.
All right. Well, yeah, we're rolling with Lauri Markkanen over 13.5 points. And while that is never the sexy option to bet on because he's not the scorer that he once was, this is a great spot for him because he's going back to Chicago for the first time ever since he's left the Bulls. And being a Bulls fan as I am, I watch all their games right now defensively. Not a very strong team with them missing, Lonzo Ball, Caruso, Zach LaVine, Javonte Green, all these guys, Patrick Williams. So right now it's just a depleted Bulls team defensively. They'll have to focus on Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, because if they don't, they're going to get cooked. So a guy like Lauri Markkanen has motivation tonight to actually come back to Chicago, put on a good game. And he has also, a pretty good game right behind him, hitting the over. He had 14 points in his last game. He's at the over 3 of his last 5. So nothing great, but when he plays the minutes and he has motivation, he's normally a good bet. And I think that constitutes here. So we're taking Markkanen over 13.5.
And man, you're a Bulls fan. You mentioned that at the beginning. Yep. There's not a lot of love lost for Lauri here, right? There's not a lot of Bulls fans that are going to be giving him an ovation. I think we're going to hear a little bit more boos than anything. So
it'll be in the middle. He didn't leave he didn't want to leave. That's the thing. We were transforming the team, and Lauri was a beloved guy in Chicago. We loved him. At first, he was a little too skinny for us, and then he bulked up, and you saw the picture on Instagram where he was meathead. Then we were like, yeah, Lauri's meant to be in Chicago, but end up being his final season. I think they'll be open arms with him and be cool, but if he does score 15, 20, there'll be boos.
Anything, man. That extra motivation is all we need here, he's going to be fired up. No reason not to back him right here.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah. Lauri always does me dirty, so I won't tail, so you'll win on this one, because he always kills me. He always, whenever I play him, he does bad. Whenever I don't, he does well. So I will stay off of this one just for you and your bankroll. I'll let you make that money today, because Lauri, I don't know what it is. He just doesn't like me. So, but I'm hoping the best for you on your play here. Obviously, the revenge games are always fun to back. Yes. So, we'll roll in right into. This is almost a game against your team, I believe, Monotone, rolling against your Washington Wizards.
Yep, we're going with Kyrie Irving over 23.5 points. This is available on MGM now. It's moved to 24 in every other spot, but I still would play it there very comfortably. This is one of those plays. I actually got this out over 24 hours ago. Yesterday's slate wasn't looking very good to me, so I just hopped on today's slate, got this one out 24 hours ago. I'm glad MGM still is hanging that good number. You guys should all definitely line shop when you can. But I love Kyrie in this game. I mean, Kyrie Irving without KD on the court, even with James Harden on the court, is an exceptional basketball player. Kyrie Irving, we all off the field stuff, I'm not here to talk about any of that. I'm here to talk about what the guy can do on the basketball court, and it's really, really impressive. Most notably, his ability to attack the rim. That's really what I focused on when looking at this game. And those Wizards, man, this rim. I was there the other night. I watched what Joel Embiid did position every single. It doesn't matter what position. If you can attack the paint, you can really exploit this Washington defense, especially with Thomas Bryant being back in the rotation and playing meaningful minutes. I love Thomas Bryant. He's an energy guy. He gets the crowd fired up. The guy cannot defend a single person in the league. So there's a ton of like I said, I wrote a lot about this. You can find that over on Twitter, but I can go about it all day. But comparable guards recently have absolutely demolished the Wizards. Simmons went 33-11. Anthony, like you said, went 19-9-11. SGA went 32-8-3. And I think SGA is actually a great comp, because just like Kyrie Irving, SGA does attack the rim a lot. So that was kind of my favorite comp out of them all. Additionally, Levine went 27-3-1, while Ball also went 18-6-5 in that same game. Washington did have that reputation in the beginning of the year of being able to defend well, and I do think they are. I think they do have a good defense, but when it comes down to those all-star guards that can really have their way at the rim, it's going to be really tough for Washington to stop them today.
Yeah, I always love backing Kyrie now, because he only has to play half the games, right? He only plays the road game, so he always comes out ready to play every single one. I think he's dropped 20 plus in 3 of his 4 games he's played this year. So I really like this line. I usually don't see a 1.25 from you, Mr. Monotone. So I'm going to have to tail on this one. Do you have any thoughts, Vaughn?
Let's say he's definitely. I just looked to see real quick what he's done against the Wizards, because I know he usually cooks. Last 3 meetings with the Wizards, 26, 28, and 30 points. So all very good signs right there. Wizards are not a much defensive team. I noted this morning on Bet the Edge when we did our podcast that the Nets have like a 49.8% defensive field goal percentage the last 5 games. So I'm expecting this to be a higher pace game, because James Harden and Kyrie will want to push the pace as well if the Wizards are scoring. So I do like the over on Kyrie right now. I was tempted to take a couple players in that game, but he seemed like the safest one to me.
Yep, and just a little bit more about that one too. He's played 20 games since last year with Harden in the lineup, but KD out of the lineup. One of those games was this year. He went 27, 9, and 7 versus Cleveland, which is a real tough matchup, as you guys know. But then last year, just looking at those numbers, in those 20 games, he averaged 29.8 points with 6.3 assists per game. That is with James Harden in the lineup. So yeah, like Quinn just noted, it did move apparently while we were doing the show. I still like it at 24.5. Like I said, he was averaging 29.8 games over a 20-game sample size with Harden, without KD last year. I think we're going to see a similar thing right here.
Yeah, it's almost, I mean, it's not nice to wish an injury on someone, but if Durant goes out, that all goes straight to Kyrie, right? Because you'd rather have Harden in the lineup with him than KD because he's probably not going to pass as much. We're probably going to see quite a few assists from the James Harden side. Vaughn, we got a couple questions here for your play. Would you take that Lauri play? Would you take 3+3s at plus 190 there?
That's definitely tempting because I know, he is definitely a fluid three-point shooter. So I'd like to see what he does. I know our model has him making 2.5 threes tonight. So that's certainly in the wheelhouse for a plus 190 payout. I was actually going to say, I bet my next player I was going to talk about, I bet Lauri Markkanen at 15 plus points in him and same game parlayed it. And it was a plus 496. So I feel pretty good about Lauri getting 15. And if he does that, he should make 2 or 3 threes at least. He's made 4 in his past 2 of his 4 games I just saw. So that's a good factor. And yeah, I like that. I think that's worth a sprinkle, some lunch money, or a same game parlay.
Nice. And calling our shot jumps in here. We've had him. I think he was our only other basketball guest so far. He's talking about the revenge game. We got to sign him up, especially because he's going against your old team, So he's going against your team and you can bet on him. So you get good stuff either way. So if he does bad, your team should win then, right? So you can feel good on both sides.
I'd rather win the money, but it's okay.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So actually, I'm going to go to a team that's been playing crazy good. Garland's one of my favorite players right now to watch.
Nice.
Luckily, bought a few of his cards before the season, but I'm going to be rolling with his points, assists over 29.5, minus 105 I saw on DraftKings today. So 215 total in these games, which is actually pretty high for a Cavs game, to be honest. And now we're having, obviously, he's playing the Bulls tonight. No Lonzo or Caruso. Last 2 games with both of them out, kind of comparable guys. Obviously, Ja's I would probably put Ja a little bit higher. He had 25 and 3. That was a blowout, only 32 minutes there. And even Dennis Schroeder had a nice game with 16 points, 8 assists on these guys. In Chicago, not really known to be a fast-paced team, but is a very high pace-up spot here for the Cavs, who do play pretty slow. It's almost 2 full possessions should be added here. And this season, one of the craziest things I've seen was Garland has a 37.2 assist percentage on the Cavs this year, which is nuts. His usage rate is obviously skyrocketing without Colin Sexton in the lineup, sitting around 26% usage. He's hit this in 3 straight games and actually kind of killed this number in 3 straight games. He had 40 points assists against the Spurs, 45 against the Thunder, and 34 against Brooklyn. And when we take these points and assist lines, I like either side to pop off. He's had multiple 14 assist games. So when we're doing both like this, I like having both points and assists ability to get there. He's had over 30 points in multiple games this month too. So I'm thinking I like this spot quite a bit. And I'm hoping that this Bulls game does well for all of us. I see we've multiple plays in this game. So I really like Garland in this spot. Do you guys have any thoughts on Darius Garland tonight against the Bulls?
Yeah, I'll say I just went to the Celtics and Bulls game in TD Garden, and some of the Bulls guards right now are like, who are these guys? Especially like Matt Thomas was coming off our bench, and I'm like, Matt Thomas, like this is where we're at right now in the season. But, like Aya DeSomno, he's been great, but still young guy that's, figuring it out right now. So, and DeMar DeRozan, as good as he is, not the best defensive player either. Like I said, there's plenty of holes right now on that team, and I love Garland. Our model has him at 11 assists and 21 points, so hitting the over on both points and assists tonight. So obviously making your play proved by me. But Garland should be able to cook all night on this team, and that's one of the only worrisome factors in betting Lauri tonight is whether Garland goes for 30 or Evan Mobley pops off for 20, 25. But I think that Garland will be the main facilitator tonight and probably get 10 plus assists. So I like that play.
Yeah, man. And a couple people did note in chat that Caruso is available.
Yes,
It
he is
looked like
coming
it might, yeah, it looked like it might be his first game back. I saw
Ooh.
probable earlier. So that was, we really don't know how
Hope
many
so.
minutes, yeah, a guy like
Yeah.
Caruso is going to play in that situation. But either way, what I was looking to target, because I love this play. I love Garland today. Like, I mean, Garland's been phenomenal recently. He's really been one of the best guards in the NBA over this last, most recent span since the start of January. But yeah, I mean, the Bulls drop defense that they play with Vucevic, right? They give a lot of leeway in the mid range, and that's really where Garland can work. I expect a lot of tough drives, a lot of finishing at the rim. So Caruso being back is obviously important. He's a very good defender, like very, very good. I love Caruso. He's a very underrated player. But still, even with him back in the lineup, it's hard to see him, immediately getting 30 plus minutes in the first game back. And I still think Garland is really going to attack the rim and attack that kind of weak spot that the Bulls have right now. So I love Garland today, man. I think Calling Our Shot put out a good comment, 23.5 assist chances over his last 4 games without Rondo.
Yeah.
Huge numbers right there. Love Garland today.
Love to see that. You like it, Vaughn. Like to see Calling Our Shot dropping in there too, getting the check marks of approval. I appreciate that. First time through, we went through our one play. We'll get to questions now before we get to our second play for each of us. So let's go to Vaughn here. You have anything on De'Aaron Fox points? You like it? Jay mentions that he might get traded soon. Maybe he decides he wants to pop off here.
Yeah, I definitely actually looked at this prop because I was intrigued by this. Right now, he's at over 22.5 at plus 110 on PointsBet. And I thought getting plus money for over 22 points for him is certainly tempting. Don't know if something's up with that, however, though. I mean, that definitely seems like a tricky bet to me, especially against Detroit, a team that Sacramento probably could blow out. They are the much better team, in my opinion. But I think De'Aaron Fox maybe 20-plus points in a same-game parlay is much safer than his over 22.5 tonight. Something just seems off, and I wasn't able to be confident enough to take it, but was one of my early looks this morning, definitely.
Yeah, man. I'm curious, what do you think, Vaughn, when a guy's about to be traded, how do you view that kind of situation right there? Do you weigh that in at all, just a little bit in the back of your head, or how do you view that?
Again, it's a motivational thing, but I think it goes player by player. I think some guys take it more into account on where they want to play because maybe they have a say-so where they want to play and things like that. But not as much. I mean, I'm not going to want to play a guy as much if he's about to be traded because I don't know what his minutes are like. That's also a huge factor as well. But, you've seen guys get talked about getting traded and some of them play harder. Some of them don't care, like a Ben Simmons. So, I'd rather just not play them or just wait it out.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat too. I mean, it's cool to talk about, cool to mention, but if I'm playing De'Aaron Fox tonight, it's not because he might get traded to the Pacers in 2 weeks. It's because I like the matchup,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was curious your opinion on that one.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, amazing player, but some just seems off about that one. I'd rather wait it out. I think we got our De'Aaron Fox money already. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only spread I was actually looking at because I think it's 6.5.
It was 5.5 last night. I couldn't resist. I agree with you. I hit that also. It's very weird.
And I get it. Halliburton's out, whatever. Big guys, whatever. But, man, Detroit just played last night. I know they got demolished. But, man, I just can't see them staying with them. One of my favorite, long shot props I was looking for was, Buddy Hield threes. But I can't find any Buddy Hield lines anywhere. They're nowhere. They have to know something's up because – literally, that was going to be my long shot. I was going to go 25 points and 5 threes. If Detroit can't guard the 3-point line.
Someone just commented Halliburton's out also, which that's obviously a really good factor for anyone on the Kings to score points because he's been having a pretty good season, surprisingly. Mm-hmm. He was a good fade last year, but this year he's pretty good. There's actually a comment that I Calling Our Shot said about Anthony Edwards returning to his hometown. I actually noticed that over-under for that game and was that's ridiculously high. But at the same time, who's going to stop Trae Young from running right by D'Angelo Russell or Anthony Edwards getting by, all these different young guys for the Hawks. It's the Reddishes, the Herders, all these type of guys. But I don't know, not Reddish, excuse me anymore. But Anthony Edwards is probably a really tempting bet tonight because I saw that one. I was he's probably an easy 25 or 30 piece if he wants it. So I like that one. I didn't think about that being his hometown either, but that's another motivational factor, which I always like betting on.
For sure. Let's get 2 more questions in here. We'll go to Monotone. Do you have any thoughts on Siakam tonight? Over 5.5 assists. It's plus money.
Yeah, man, that's tough for me. Siakam's been really good in the assist department recently. For those that haven't been, paying attention, the guy's averaging over 6 assists since the start of January, which is very impressive. My biggest thing is Dallas has been one of the best defenses. Actually, they have been the best defense since coming back in the new years so far. And the total's only 206 in this game. I kept looking at this game. It's tough to bet on. This Dallas defense is just going to keep switching, going to make it really hard for a lot of these guys to do anything. And when that happens, these assists are much harder to come by. So I'm going to sit this one out for a game. If he goes through and still hits 6 again, that'll just give me way more confidence for next game. That's kind of how I view those tough matchups.
These his potential assists are actually pretty crazy. I was looking outside of Darius Garland's number 1 in the NBA over the last 5 with 22. And you go down the list, and at number 8 is Pascal Siakam at 15 per game. So that's abnormally high for him. He's averaging more potential assists over the last 5 than Trae Young, John Morant, and Nikola Jokic.
Jeez,
that's crazy. That's a stat right there.
That's good
Plus
news.
102. I mean, like I said, it's over under is pretty low, but I mean that's a ridiculous number to be honest. So thank you for Paulie for bringing that one up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, maybe Paulie just turned us here, right? He turned that stat you just dropped right there. Just kind of me.
Siakam 4+ assists in my same game parlays tonight.
Might have to
sounds good to me.
Oh, yeah. All right, we got one more question before we'll get to our last plays. Looks like we got a ton of people in here asking questions. I love it, guys. Taylor says, what's up? How you doing? I hope everything is going well. Hopefully we make you some money tonight. And we'll go back to Vaughn for our last one before we get to our picks here. You have any thoughts on Jordan Clarkson over 19.5 points against the Rockets, the lowly Rockets tonight?
So this is one I actually thought about too. I texted, was preparing for the show last night, and I texted Corey, my co-host, a couple of things. I said, Jordan Clarkson could probably go off without Donovan Mitchell. What do you think? And he said, seems like a trap game on the Rockets and Jazz. And I said, I don't know. I think the Rockets are a feisty team that likes to fight with a lot of young guys that have a lot to prove. And a guy like Jordan Clarkson says, hey, I'm the leading scorer now. This is my ship. I'm the captain. All right. So, yeah, I think Jordan Clarkson is a pretty solid bet tonight. I don't think it's going to be quite the blowout that people expect. I don't think the Jazz are playing quality basketball right now. And that's coming from someone who's backed them to be Western Conference champs and expect them to be, a pretty solid team come playoff time. So, yeah, I think Jordan Clarkson's probably a solid bet tonight, and that's something I might have to add to my card by the night.
Yeah, I remember looking at it. What team was it? They were playing the Lakers, maybe late game, where I think it was they just could not hit any of their outside shots. I think Bogdanovich was 0 for, Connolly was 0 for, and it was like they were like 0 for 12 combined. It's just like they're not playing great, but that's almost better for Clarkson because this man is what I call Bobby Portis for the Bucks, the black hole where you get the ball to him and it's not coming back out. It's going up. Don't even worry about it.
And here's a number statistics for you on Jordan Clarkson this season. When he plays at least 28 minutes, he's 7-4 to the over 19.5. He scored 19 once, so he got hooked. And when he plays at least 30 minutes, he's 6-2 and he got hooked once. So, pretty solid numbers. He should get the minutes tonight, in my opinion.
Awesome. That's great stats. Thanks for sharing those with us. And we will get right into your second play of the day. And I believe we're going to the lowly Heat injured today.
So this line actually moved a ton today. It was opened at 10.5. Then the Tyler Hero news broke after some people already obviously knew about it because Gabe Vincent's line probably should not have been 10.5 pre that news. But now it's 12.5. A good friend of all of ours, Prop Bomb, put out the 11.5. He called me and told me, what do you think about it? And I said, dude, I'm going to bring it out on the show. And he said, well, I'm going to move it now. And I said, it's okay. I still play it at 12.5. So we got the 12.5 here. And what to know about Gabe Vincent is he has been a baller when his minutes are right. And that's the key thing to betting guys that are going to be stepping up now in rotations. With Tyler Hero out, he is 12-4 to the over when he plays at least 25 minutes this season. That's a significant number, and that number even gets better as obviously if he plays more minutes. He's been solid all season long. I mean, he's a role player for them. Nothing sexy, but Jimmy Butler being back obviously helps them facilitate the ball and get the ball to more shooters. So I'm looking at like the Gabe Vincents, the Duncan Robinsons tonight. These type of guys be able to hit threes, stretch the court. And Gabe Vincent primarily likes to score from beyond the arc. So if he's hitting 2 or 3 threes tonight, that's obviously a huge factor in betting the over. And against a team like Portland, who has really little to none defense against point guards and shooting guards, ranking bottom 5 in both against points per game. Gives him a good, just a good increase in usage, increase in shots, overall increase in point potential. So, yeah, I like Gabe Vincent over 12.5. That is the highest I would play it. But I will say I parlayed Lauri Markkanen and Gabe Vincent at 15+ points. That's plus 496, 500 range. Felt pretty solid that those guys could do that for some lunch money. So I like both their overs in the teen range right now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of Vincent tonight. I told you in that our little chat before that I actually locked in something a little different. I got 2 3-pointers made and him to have a steal at minus 101 before the show started. So essentially even money right there. Like you said, though, when this guy gets the minutes necessary, he's an absolute baller. Just filter, go on whatever app you have, filter like 28 minutes plus, something like that. And this guy does nothing but put up absolute numbers. He's a great shooter. And like you said, this is really going to be point Jimmy, right? I mean, this kind of filters into something I'm going to talk about a little bit later, but Jimmy Butler is fully going to be the playmaker on this team. And he's very good at it too. So I'm very excited for Vincent.
Yeah, I'm expecting a mega chalk on Gabe Vincent in the DFS realm tonight because even last game, right, when they just didn't have Lauri, he had 15 points and 25 fantasy points for those who do DFS here. But he had that with no Lauri. Now we're going to take out Hero too, who's their second highest usage guy. I do know Bam's coming back, but I don't think that's really going to affect him as a shooting guard out there. Bam's a pretty good passer himself too, so I think that Gabe Vincent definitely has an ability to pop off today too and be that good chalk that we talk about once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, Bam, like he didn't look quite himself in his first game back, but he did look good. Like he didn't look like he was super rusty for missing like almost 20 games or whatever it was. But yeah, the passing, that's Bam's game. The top of the key, running those screens, facilitating the 3-point shooters, the guys cutting. That's what he's best at.
Yeah, I love this line. I love it. Perfect. And we're going to stay in the same game, rolling back to monotone, exactly what you were just talking about.
Yep, these kind of correlate a good amount. I have a good little bit on Jimmy Butler today. I'm on his points, rebounds, assists. I'm on his points now with that injury news. I got on that real quick. And I'm on rebounds and assists, which is what I highlighted today. It's at plus 100. It still is at plus 100 on MGM once again. So another clutch line that is still available, even with a lot of the market moving in other places. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about Butler a little bit. So while Bam, we did just talk about Bam, right, that he is back. A lot of people may be worried about that, right? Because last year, if you guys remember, most of the time when we were playing these Jimmy RA props, which were pretty popular, it was when Bam went out. But I'm not too concerned about that right here because the guy we're really kind of capitalizing off of being out is Lauri. And even now, I did my write-up before, but now Hero, who's the secondary ball handler, is now also out. So I think what this really means is Jimmy Butler is going to have the ball in his hands a lot. Lauri is already one of the league leaders in assists this season. So Jimmy Butler's shown his skills as a primary playmaker before, and I expect him to do it again. Portland has not been a great defense this year, and now they're getting CJ McCollum back, who doesn't make that defense any better. Spoiler alert to anyone that's rooting for Portland tonight. It doesn't get much better there. But specifically, Portland isn't great at defending the paint. They allowed the 9th most points in the paint. So that's where Butler will do a lot of his dirty work. He'll cement himself as a presence down there. And he's gone over this 14.5 rebounds assist number in 4 or 5 games that Lauri's missed this year. So Lauri's only missed a couple games, obviously. He's only missed 5. But in 4 of those games, Butler got to this number very easily. And I expect that again. I would have him on triple-double watch. I'm kind of surprised this didn't open at 15.5, maybe minus 120. The lines we were getting in this were very surprising to me. So I'm very confident that Butler has another great game as both a primary, assist machine. I think he can get up to 8 or 9. And then grabbing 6 or 7 rebounds from there is not very hard for Jimmy Butler at all.
Yeah, I'm looking over his potential stuff when he's coming back. And last game, I was worried about him a little bit last game. Prop Bomb and I played the Heat money line, and Butler at 4+
I did see that one.
And we were talking about the over 6.5 assists because I was like, it's kind of a still good line, but it was plus money, which was odd to us. He, obviously ended up triple doubling. He had 17 potential rebounds and 11 potential assists in this last game alone. And the last 3 coming back, he's averaged 12.5 apiece, so 25 total rebounds and assists. And I think that could go up against a team like Portland. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, some of the news I thought was huge for this exact prop here was I saw Norman Powell being ruled out earlier in the day, and I thought Powell was going to guard Butler, but now Covington might have to. I don't know who Covington's going to guard there, but with Powell, you at least have a guy who's similar in size and can kind of move with Butler. I don't even know who they're going to have guard him now. I don't.
That's why
no idea. Maybe Nasir Little. So Butler might just cook him. I have no idea if he's going to drop a triple-double, but that's probably a pretty good sprinkle there without Powell in the lineup. I think that was huge news that came out early this morning.
Yeah, I think that benefits your play a lot too, because if Covington does guard Jimmy Butler, because that's why I was thinking I don't want to play Jimmy Butler's points today. It made me nervous because it seemed too easy with Tyler Hero out. It seemed like the obvious bet, and the obvious bets are usually the losers. So, yeah, another reason why I pivoted to Gabe Vincent. But, yeah, I like Jimmy Butler's rebounds, assists. It seems like the smarter play.
I love it. I love those combo plays for sure. And I'm actually going to stick with that for my biggest play of the show. I'm going to triple J's against my Bucks tonight. I know it's hard. I'm fading my Bucks. I know you're going against your Bulls, so I might as well stick with it. Rolling against my team here. And just off the cuff here is we already talked about how the Bucks literally will sit back on every single three-point attempt when we run the pick and roll. With Ja, obviously you have to give him space, or else he's just going to cook you down the paint every single time. And so I think he's going to be with Jaren today. I think Steven Adams, honestly, probably gets ran off the court, to be completely honest. I don't think they're going to be able to play a center against the Bucks tonight. And Giannis, obviously, I'm not going to go there. His numbers are crazy, crazy high. But obviously, no Bane is huge, huge news. The guy who would be getting a lot of those three-point attempts. Also really like DeAnthony Melton. I know me and Monotone talked about that a little bit earlier before the show was on here. But it's a buy low spot for Jaren Jackson here. His last two games, he only played 27 and 25 minutes because Memphis was getting blown out or blowing people out. I mean, they just they're 25-point games. I believe the Bulls were one of those games, if I remember correctly, if they were in there. But prior to those two blowouts, he's hit this in 4 straight games, 5 of 6 prior to that with there. And Bane has a 23% usage rate, obviously gets a lot of shots up. And I think those do filter over to Jackson. I think Jackson's going to be more on the outside today. I have a really, really good feeling about Jaren Jackson against the Bucks tonight because I remember watching the game when he dropped like 30-something, 35 plus on us. And all it was the exact thing I'm talking about here where we just sit back and sit in the paint. Jaren Jackson, all it takes is that first one to go in, turn him into a microwave, just shooting out those threes. And I really just think that that's going to be the exact same thing that happens here. Jaren's going to be an extremely tough matchup for whoever is going to be guarding him tonight. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Jaren getting minutes at the 5, which is why I added the rebounds in there. He's got 5 rebounds in every single game this month. And 3 of those are with Steven Adams in there because I know that's what someone's going to post in here. Steven's back. He's not going to get the rebounds. Well, he's gotten at least 5, and he actually has an 8-rebound game with Steven Adams back. And honestly, I think that we're going to see Drew Holiday back today. I've been reading a little bit of the beat reports around. Obviously, I live in Milwaukee, so I've been seeing a little bit about Drew coming back. So if Drew is playing, I think this helps this one a ton. Obviously, Drew Holiday, one of the best defenders in the NBA, having to guard Ja tonight. I think that we can get a lot of kickouts here. And like I said, we do that sit back. Obviously, it's not as bad as when we have Brook Lopez, when Brook Lopez literally sits in the middle of the paint and just lets anybody shoot. Yeah. But now we're going to have probably Bobby Portis having to guard him, and I don't think that's going to make it really any better on the three-point shot. Obviously, he's a great shot blocker down low, but I'm going to say Jaren's a little bit more athletic than him in that aspect, so I'm going to be rolling with Jaren Jackson. Points, rebounds, over 22.5. I'm rolling 2 units on this one, my biggest play of the day so far.
Yeah, man, this is interesting, right? Because my biggest worry in this game, honestly, is, and I bet this last night in my Discord, somebody put me onto it. I just bet the Bucks, man. Like Desmond Bane, when he was ruled out last night, I just sat there thinking, like, how are the Grizzlies gonna win this game? It's really hard for me to see. Like, pretty much what I imagine is gonna have to happen is I think Ja's probably gonna have to drop at least 30 points. And I actually don't think that hurts your bet that much here, because if he's garnering that much attention, and there's so many points up for grabs with Brooks out and with Bane out, that's essentially their 2 best, shooting guards on the roster, to their 2s, their 3s. So we're asking a lot from guys like D'Anthony Melton, and that whole rotation of guys. Tilly, they've got the rookie. What's the rookie's name again? Zaire Williams, right?
Yep, Williams, and then
They've
Kochar.
Yeah, Kochar's there. They've got we're really asking one of those guys to really step up, which is kind of tough for me to imagine. So I do think the Bucks win this game pretty handily, but if it stays close, then I think Jaren Jackson Jr. should be able to get there relatively easily. So it is a bit of a tougher matchup against the Bucks, but if they can keep this game close, then I think this is a really good spot for JJJ.
Yeah, we talked about this game a lot on our podcast this morning, and Corey actually bet the Grizzlies plus the 7, and I was like, there's no reason to bet the Grizzlies plus the 7, but that is the part of the NBA against the spread betting that is so difficult because it's never as easy as it seems.
Yep.
Essentially, like we just said about the Jazz losing to the Lakers the other night. I don't bet against the spread too often because it seems too easy sometimes, and that was a game where I was like, the Jazz should beat the Lakers, and obviously they didn't. I didn't bet on it, but that's because it seemed like it was too easy. And yeah, this spot seems like it may be too easy for the Bucks, so I think this will be a competitive game. And I know the Bucks have been far worse against the spread at home than on the road this season. So yeah, maybe they can keep it in. I definitely like Jaren Jackson. He's been getting a lot of rebound chances, 14 on average over his last 3 and 16 over his last 5. So yeah, seems like a good bet to me. He could definitely score 15 plus.
Yeah, I think he averaged in 3 games against the Bucks. He averages 21 points a game in those 3. So I don't really think there's really going to be too much issue. As long as he can get that 16, 17 points, I'm perfectly fine. If he gets 1 rebound, that's on me. I'll take that one on the chin.
Yeah, and like Vaughn said, there's a reason us guys up here aren't putting out these spread picks every day, man. Like crazy shit. I mean, I hit 16.5 for the Pistons yesterday, right? And they were down plus 16.5 against the Warriors with no Draymond. I was like, yeah, this is a good bet right here. And at halftime, they were down 40 points. And guess what? I won that bet. The Pistons only lost by 16. So I don't know how this stuff happens, but I just stick to props, man. It's crazy.
I'm obviously a big college basketball capper, and I bet Wisconsin last night. Wisconsin hit us a halftime buzzer beater. And then they win the game by 6, and the spread was minus 2.5. If they don't hit that buzzer beater, it's right on the spread, and that game's way different planned out. So, yeah, it's crazy how these little things in games affect them or they land right on the numbers. So, yeah, dangerous game playing against the spread market.
Yep.
Yeah, and then that just brings me back to the Pistons. I already talked about how they always play. They play their starters so long. It's crazy. They just play them while the other team's on, like, their 9th and 10th guy off the bench. Like, I told him I've lost to Sadiq Bey, highest scorer in the game, because they brought in or I had Cade Cunningham highest scorer. They brought Sadiq Bey, and they're down 37 points. So the Pistons are probably a good backdoor cover team. They probably should, because they just throw their starters out there for no particular reason. Let's get to some questions here. It looks like we have quite a few in here. Taylor talking about Terry Rozier tonight, over 3.5 threes at plus 180. Do you guys have any thoughts about this one? I believe it's Charlotte-Boston tonight.
Yeah, man. I mean, this one, my thoughts are pretty simple, actually. I just don't bet the Hornets when they're healthy. I think there are edges occasionally, but with that roster, right, of Ball, Rozier, you got Hayward, you got Miles Bridges, who's really freaking good down there. We've got 4 very viable, healthy starters who can each drop 25 points on any given night. That's really rare in the NBA. And because of that, it's hard for me to pick out which guy is going to go off on any given night. So I just kind of chill when the Hornets are playing. I just don't really bet on them that much, to be honest. So maybe someone has a better answer than that. Than me, but I'm just not super big on any specific Hornet for most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I like the revenge angle that playing Terry Rozier here and it being in Boston, all that. And he's done well against them. Looking over his numbers, I mean, 21, 22 points, 15 points in his last 3. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not in love with Terry Rozier. Like you said, the Hornets to me are one of the worst teams to bet on in the NBA this season when it comes to player props. But it's certainly appealing. He's had at least 8 3-point attempts in his last 3 against Boston, I saw. So,
yeah, and
not a bad
who would have thought against the Knicks? You're seeing Miles Bridges, did he drop 40 on those guys? On MLK Day, he dropped 40, and who would have thought that? He's just the one guy, just the most recent situation this happened, but who would have thought he would be the guy that dropped 40 plus there And it's just, yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying there, Monotone, with the amount of good quality young talent on this team. It's tough to pick the right game, but if you pick right, be a nice easy cash for you.
True that.
I'll take this one. I would play points, rebounds, assists. I think that'd still be a fine line. I just think that, especially what I talked about earlier, where each stat has the ability to go off. I don't really think the rebound stat has the ability to go off very much here. Cleveland, we've talked about it before. The amount of big guys, Jared Allen rebounds extremely well. Mobley's been doing fantastic on the glass too as of late. And obviously still Lauri Markkanen, who's 7 feet tall. I mean, obviously he's sitting out by the 3-point line, but the guy still can grab rebounds as a 7-footer here. I would probably just stick to points, assists. I would, if you're going to split anything, maybe just do just straight points or straight assists. I know I saw on DraftKings over 9.5 assists was plus 100. I think that'd be a good spot too, but I would probably stay away from adding the rebounds in because I think the points and assists are going to be the biggest part of that spot.
I just saw Garland's at plus 105 to double on DraftKings also.
Ooh,
so, I mean,
I like that.
Essentially, if you're believing in that, you're believing the Cisco's 10 plus more than likely, but that's also just throwing it out there too.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about the Detroit game a little bit earlier. Vaughn, you got any thoughts on these crazy lines Quinn's are throwing out there? Big money spots, if we can get it right.
Yeah, let's see what Cade Cunningham's been doing in his assist game the last 5, because I'll be the first one to tell you I haven't watched much Detroit Pistons basketball lately. I don't know about you guys, but
I bet on Cade a lot, so I've seen more than I probably should, and it's not good.
Yeah, so
it's tough to watch.
You can break it down. I'll look up some of his numbers, his potential assists. He's not coming up on the first page. That's not a good thing.
No, yeah, Cade Cunningham. It's tough because he is a point guard, obviously, and does pass the ball, obviously gets his assist numbers, but if I have to rely on Sadiq Bey hitting a 3 and this dude shoots like 3 for 13 from 3 on most nights that I watch, it's very hard to see the assist. You're really hoping that it's dumped down to Isaiah Stewart in the layup department there. I always like doing points with whatever I like with Cade, so it's usually points, assists, points, rebounds, because this dude, again, gets hot. Once he gets hot, he is not going to pass the ball. Even as a point guard, I've watched like 3 of these games where he just drops like 22 points, but probably passes it like 4 times in the entire game. So I would usually combine it with something. Whatever numbers you have might give a little bit better detail for it. But yeah, I stick to points, whatever that I'm dropping on with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his potential assists, and they're ugly, like terrible numbers. We're talking about 7.8 potential assists in his last 5 games. We're talking about 8.2 in his last 3, dips below 7 in his last 10. Clearly, he's more concerned about scoring than he is passing the ball. So I would probably pass on Cade Cunningham's assists, even versus a lowly Kings team that doesn't play the best defense either. He's probably a better bet on the points tonight.
Yeah, man. So, some of these Pistons games are real tough. Like I said, there was no basketball on last night. You guys are college basketball guys. I'm not. I had plus 16.5, and I watched them play, and it was very hard to do. I would not recommend it. Additionally, just one last thing about this prop too. Corey Joseph is back. He is someone who's very comfortable handling the ball, and he did a lot last night. So just something to keep in mind. This is, I'm probably not going to play anything from that game, to be honest, tonight.
It's dangerous.
So, yeah.
All right. I know we mentioned this earlier. Jay's dropping in. It's plus 929 if you want to do SGP with the 10 rebounds, 10 assists. So that's definitely a good mark. Thank you for dropping that in here. I didn't get to check that line before, so I appreciate that. Yes, I did see Kyle Anderson was out. I don't know how much that's really going to affect him because his usage rate is very low. I mean, he doesn't really do too much on the offensive side, but he does. That will help probably the rebound portion because he does do a little bit more of the peripheral stuff with the steals and stuff like that, along with rebounds. So I think if anything, it helps the rebound part, which just makes me like the points rebounds portion of it a little bit more. Jay is being active today. I love it. You guys have any thought on Pat Bev over 4.5 assists in that crazy total game that we talked about earlier? Well, with 237, I was thinking I saw there.
Pat Beverly. You got to be a real avid player prop better to be betting Pat Beverly. So kudos to you, buddy. Let me see what his numbers are and see what you guys think about that.
Yeah. I'll drop my 2 cents on this. I don't bet Pat Bev pretty much ever, but this just seems like a game that I'm going to take this 10-second clip that I'm about to say, and it's going to happen, and I'm going to feel like a genius. I think Pat Bev gets tossed out of this game against Trae Young. I literally think he gets
possible.
tossed because Trey's going to hit a three in his face and talk smack on him, and Pat Bev's going to push him or he's going to throw hands on him. I'm serious. This just screams one of those games where Trae Young is young enough. He's just going to keep talking to him. And Pat Bev really doesn't take anything. This man just will literally go for your head. So I think he's going to get tossed tonight. I literally, once I saw this matchup, that was the first thing that popped in my head was Trae Young, Pat Bev. And that's my 2 cents. I have no bet on this game, but that's just what I think when I think of this game.
So looking over the numbers, it actually doesn't look like the worst bet. I'm not going to lie. Pat Bev's averaging over 8.5 rebound chances and 8.5 potential assists coming back a piece. So basically 17s here. Ask him to do a little bit over 50% of his production. But, I mean, when you look at a couple of the other numbers that are included in it, it does seem like there might be a little edge there. So given his opponent in the over-under total, yeah, it actually might not be a bad bet. You might be onto something too.
I just have to show this interaction here in the chat. Pat Bev will go 5-5-5, and Jay Traps with 5 fouls. I love that. I was dying in there. I wasn't laughing at you, Vaughn. I was laughing at that comment. I mean, that's literally what I see. Is I don't know if he's going to be able to play that much with it.
There should be honestly a prop out there. Like, will he have more fouls than like rebounds, or like more fouls than like assists?
Over 4.5 fouls. I think I would take the over most of that time there.
That'd be a great bet. Great bet. That's hilarious.
Okay, thank you, PBS, putting my house on the max under. Oh, I wouldn't do that, but I wish there was an eject one. I would definitely be sprinkling that plus 1,000 money on it for sure. And 5 steals, yeah, I take that in fantasy for sure. He's starting to pop off a little bit there for sure.
Yeah, that's actually the only Pat Bev thing I ever bet is steals right there. I just wanted, there's some slander, he does get those steals, so that's what I like to throw into some of those parlays,
All right, guys, your favorite part of the show is our long shots. We're going to go to our long shots here. Vaughn's going to kick us off with his long shot. I believe he mentioned it a little bit earlier, but pretty good odds on this one for sure.
Yeah, I soiled it. So it'll be the two guys, they'll be at 15 points apiece. It's going to be Lauri Markkanen and Gabe Vincent, as we said. So, I mean, if you're riding either of them separately, you might as well sprinkle both of them together. I think these are both great spots. Gabe Vincent usage-wise versus the team. Lauri Markkanen, revenge spot, but also the defense of the Bulls is very lackluster. So I like them. We also have some same game parlays too on tap. Should I break them out for the crew right now?
Oh yeah,
drop them.
Oh yeah.
All right, sounds good. So we did them today, which have been pretty well. We did a plus 1,700 last week, but Soundworks only plus 300 this week. So we're basically back to baby steps to get 2 wins in a row, then build ourselves back up. But in the Clippers and Nuggets game, so NBC's booster is going to be Aaron Gordon, 10-plus points and 4-plus rebounds. He had a 30-12 game the last time he played the Clippers, so obviously that's a great bet. We have the Nuggets money line as 8-point favorites, under 2 threes from Jokic, and then 10 rebounds from Jokic. It's plus 300. It seems like a pretty safe same-game parlay. It is 5 legs, so buyer beware. But as you guys know, Slope Rules on Twitter, awesome same-game parlay guy, YOLO parlay master. He came on today on our show, and he gave out a same-game parlay of the Nuggets money line, Jokic 20-plus points, Aaron Gordon over 2 assists, and Will Barton over 1 made 3. And honestly, that sounds like a great parlay too to me. So I tell that one at plus 300. I feel like that's a pretty solid parlay.
Nice. So it was Gordon 10 points, 4 rebounds for him. Denver money line, under 2 threes Jokic. And what was the last one?
And the last one was going to be Will Barton. Will Barton over 1.5 made 3s. So, not very difficult in my opinion to hit. We're fading the Clippers entirely in this spot. And I mean, what's not the reason not to fade them right now? The Clippers aren't playing the best basketball in general. But
yeah, it's tough too with Paul George. They just ruled him out for an additional, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah. I didn't know he had a torn UCL. They just said elbow, but as a baseball guy, hearing the torn UCL, I think it's a lot worse for obviously baseball. But hearing that he actually had that, I just thought it was like he hit the ground or something hard on it. But no, that's a tough injury. So hopefully, hope the best for him and hope he comes back healthy. And now we're going in that Miami game over to you, Mr. Monotone. Let's see what you got here.
Yeah, like I said, I was real fired up, to see Vaughn was on Gabe Vincent, because I really do like that. And what I did, how I approached this one is I kind of, even though Duncan Robinson has been real bad at home, like a lot of people that might have noticed that trend, Duncan Robinson's been absolutely terrible at home. Like his home road splits are like incredible. Like I don't know why. I'm not even going to try to guess, not a psychologist or anything like that. But I did sprinkle on Duncan here also to make 5. So I kind of went Gabe Vincent to make 5 at plus 680 and also Duncan Robinson at plus 400. Even maybe when those Max Straws, is that how you say Struess? I don't know how you say it.
Straws. Yeah. I like straws.
Yeah, Max Straw. I mean, definitely not right, but you know what I mean? He's probably not watching right now. But either way, Vaughn touched on it too. Those Bam screens, and Bam and Jimmy are 2 of the best like screeners there are out there. That's kind of an underrated thing you might see. But I do really think Miami's going to depend on a lot of these 3-point shooters. And what better team to do that against than the Portland Trailblazers? So
seriously.
Yeah, a lot of Miami action today, but I'm feeling good about it.
$10 to win 68. I mean, it's a nice little sprinkle right there. I like that.
Yeah, in the middle of the season, or probably about 3 weeks ago, I would just literally have to play a DFS lineup with someone playing the Portland Trailblazers because their defense is literally that bad. It is so hard to watch them on defense. Yeah. You just got to hope that Simons can cook or something just to keep them close. So,
how do you get rid of Carmelo Anthony and get worse on defense? Who does that?
That's so true because I remember watching some New York Mellow, and that was fun watching the other side of the court. You literally do nothing and then sprint to a spot, do his one little post up, and hit his fadeaway, and then walk back. It was just I don't know. That's impossible to get worse on defense, and they found a way to do it. All right, my last one. I'm going crazy odds, guys. I've been loving these. Obviously, hitting my long shot a couple like 3 or 4 weeks ago at around plus 2,000. We almost hit our plus 2,200 last week. So I've been getting close. I've been getting close again, and now I'm going to roll with my 2 guys from today at 25 plus a piece, almost 19 to 1. Darius Garland has actually hit this in 2 of his last 3 games, and he's hit it 4 times this month. So it's not like that one's too far-fetched against the Bulls here. Obviously, I gave all the info about why I like Garland tonight. But Triple J's, obviously, that's the long shot there. I think his is like 1,100 on his own. So I will be sprinkling on these separately. But, yeah, on his own, he's like 1,100 or something like that. And, yeah, he's only hit it once this month. But that's the one where he attempted the most threes. And so when I look at that, I think that that's definitely the game plan here. Obviously, Bane was playing in all those games as well. So we get the injury. We get the most attempted threes on a team, which is the Bucks. I think it all kind of just screams well together. I have a feeling that this one's going to pop off. I'm going to definitely be sprinkling Triple J's by himself because I think 1,100 is just absurd on a guy of his talent level with that much usage to go around now. So I'm going to take another shot on a super long shot and roll with Darius Garland and Jaren Jackson Jr. 25 plus a piece at almost 19 to 1. So that's going to be mine.
Dude. I like it. I mean, I've got some money to throw around on these long shots. I'm feeling good about it, right? Last week, I was in the spaces, with John, who you talked about earlier. He'll be on Friday, Dead Prez, some of my odds checker guys. And we were spitballing long shots, and I found this one on FanDuel, and it was 17 to 1, and it was any or plus 1,700, whatever you want. It was any non-quarterback to throw a passing touchdoure. And that was and it hit. And so I've got this long shot money that I'm ready to spend. I'm ready to re-up now. So you guys all put out some good ones. You kind of got to see like the like kind of graph of who's most like in reality. It started with Vaughn, who's not out here doing this crazy shit that we are every week. He gives a very reasonable one. I'm out here telling you guys to bet on like 3 different players to hit 5 threes, and then he's giving you, plus 1,800. So I don't know. It's pretty funny, but I think we got some winners here for sure.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. And I've been trying to get more into the same game parlay space, the long shot space, because like, first off, every sport is a long season. The NBA is an absurdly long season. Mm-hmm. And when you're betting it every day, trying to be a 60% handicapper, whether it's against a spread, over-unders, player props, it's all very difficult to do. Like it takes a lot of stress, a lot of focusing, and, mentally being right for all these games. So yeah, I think I've been trying to get into these long shots more, save your money, get this extra spending money, stuff like that. So yeah, I think these are all smart, and I think they all have good shots. I mean, I feel really good about Gabe Vincent and Lauri, and I already rock with Darius Garland and JJJ. So let's rock.
Love it. I think we got 2. We might have 2 more questions. Again, guys, if you have questions, drop them in here. We'll get through a couple more before we get to our recap of the show and our plugs to finish. We have Caris LeVert over 9.5 rebounds, assists. Jay has been rolling with these plays out here. I love it. Do you guys have any thoughts? Obviously, pretty fun game to end the night in Indiana and the Lakers. Should be a fun one.
I mean, sorry, if Vaughn has something more insightful to say here, I was just going to say, you mentioned the black hole kind of player earlier in the stream, and Caris is truly one of those guys for me. So it's really hard for me to play anything with assists involved with this guy, man. He really doesn't like passing to his teammates.
It depends if Malcolm Brogdon is out tonight. If Brogdon is out, then LeVert's rebounds and assists is probably strong because his assists would be strong.
Yep.
I know for a fact he's had a couple decent assist games, and I just looked up his numbers since coming back. 12.7 potential assists in the last 3 games on average, and almost 9 rebound chances. So, I mean, you're getting a pretty nice number at 9.5. If Brogdon out, it's probably a steal, honestly.
Yeah. Great clarification right there. Because when Brogdon does go out, someone's got to pass the ball, and I guess it might as well be our guy right here, Caris LeVert. But if Brogdon is in, then I do think LeVert is going to go back to that role where he's just kind of he's not looking to pass. Let's be honest. He looks at himself. Yeah, exactly. The guy looks at himself in the mirror every morning and goes, I can make that shot. Like, there's nobody better than me on this team. Sabonis, trash. Turner, trash. Brogdon, I can make that shot. And he plays like it, so I don't know.
Yeah, this is a one that you take the over if Brogdon's out, take the under if he's in. Obviously, another big piece of news that we haven't really had to talk about because he's been out for so long is TJ McConnell's not playing either. And that dude, whenever Brogdon was out, was a tank last year.
Yep.
So that is also big. And we've been seeing Sabonis assists pop off a little bit lately with them chucking it down there and him kicking it out. I like Sabonis a ton in DFS. He'll probably be in most of my lineups if Brogdon is out. If not, I mean, he's just overpriced everywhere. So I definitely agree with you guys being on the over if he is out. So maybe it's one that you just throw a little bit on it before the news, and then if you have to hedge it out at the end. So I do really like that. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate all your questions. I don't know if we have too many other ones. I think that might have been our last one of the day. Mike's asking if we have a straight point parlay. I don't know if we've ever made a straight point parlay in here. So
would that just be, are we picking winners or what? Money lines?
Yeah. Maybe we just throw our. We're all on props because I don't do well on spreads because NBA is just so much more garbage time.
I have 2 college basketball plays. See if he wants those.
Yeah.
I did bet one money line. I bet, which is good for a parlay piece. I would actually advise this to be a parlay piece. Would be New Hampshire money line.
Okay.
Though it's obviously not a great team to bet on, or if you don't watch college basketball, it's not going to be very appealing to watch 1 second of it. But they should definitely win today. Their money lines went from 137 to 170, and I was looking at them, felt pretty confident. I also bet Vermont basketball at -13.
They've been great lately. They've been great. They've been scoring a lot, way more than lately.
Yeah, and New Hampshire is playing Hartford, and I live in Hartford, Connecticut right now, so I was going to go to the game, and then Hartford told me I cannot go to the game because they have COVID restrictions right now, and they're worried about having people in the arena. So that means New Hampshire is going to be playing in basically a neutral court in Hartford, which is only an hour away, which is a good sign for them. So I would play them on the money line. I also played Vermont -13. Like I said, they should just destroy New Jersey Institute of Technology today, if that means anything to you.
Hey, man, my buddy goes there. So maybe I'll let
tell them they're getting trashed tonight, so get ready.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you guys do this stuff, man. These college basketball teams, I check out Vaughn's articles all the time over on NBC. They're great stuff. Really informative for a guy like me who knows absolutely nothing about these teams. Same with PPS. He's messaging me these random basketball, like, max plays, and I'm just like, okay,
Yes, dude. And it hit. Did you get that? I sent it to you. I had a double max. Instead of throwing 3 units onto one, I took Purdue's first half team total in full game, and they ended up just nuking Nebraska. I love fading Nebraska, man. I love fading Hoiberg's team's defense is just abysmal. It is so bad. It is so bad.
When the Bulls hired him, I said, "What are we doing?" Then they fired him, and I said, "Thank the Lord, thank the Lord. Send him back to wherever he came from." Then he went to Nebraska, and I was like, "That sucks for them." But yeah, not a very good team by any means. Watch out for a team that played last night, Northwestern. Watch out for them. They're going to cover a lot of spreads this year. They're not going to win games, but they're going to cover a lot of spreads.
Yeah, those injuries are tough right now. They're in a tough little spot without Nance. I love Nance. I always love Boo Buie too, baby. He's my boy. I love watching that guy.
Great shooter. Talk about Karis LeVert. That's Buie right there. That guy will not pass the rock for a second, but he'll shoot it all right.
Love it. Let's go through our recap. We'll start with Vaughn telling the people his plays to end the show here.
Yeah, so we're going with Lauri Markkanen over 13.5. He's coming back to Chicago. Hometown boy. Should be a great time. And then we're also going to be playing Gabe Vincent over 12.5 points. I got them both also parlayed at 15+ points for plus 496. I think it's an attractive bet. And then we got a same game parlay that's out on my Twitter at VMoneySports. Nuggets and Clippers, late night sweat. And we'll have a Twitter Spaces again, which will be a good time, all at 3-1 odds. So, yeah, lots of money being thrown around today in the NBA. I can't wait.
Yeah, we deserve it after the 2-game night last night. We deserve this 13.
Truly.
We deserve the 13.
Truly.
We're heading over to you, Monotone.
Yep, like I said, favorite guy of the day, Kyrie Irving, over 23.5 points. Got him points, PRA, assist, all that. So I'm big on Kyrie tonight. Next up, same situation. Got this guy in multiple different ways, but Jimmy Butler over 14.5 rebounds and assists. Love that plus money at plus 100 here. Yep, and then we're moving into the long shot. A lot of Heat guys, like we mentioned before, but Gabe Vincent to make 5 threes at plus 680, and then I do think Duncan Robinson is an additional play right there at plus 400 also.
Fade the Blazers defense, baby. Fade the Blazers defense.
You might just
I'll be rolling against the Bulls tonight with Darius Garland's points, assists over 29.5 at 1.5 unit play there. My biggest one of the night is going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. over 22.5 points and rebounds, and might as well throw it a little higher, right? We're going to go with Garland and Triple J's, going with 25+. You almost get 19-1 on those odds. So, ton of stuff there. A lot of questions. We have our last question. It looks like last question before we have our final thoughts here. Any thoughts on Jimmy Garland, Robert Williams double parlay?
I honestly don't hate it. I know Prop Bomb said to me if I wanted to collab on a little Rob Williams play, he said he thinks he's going to have a good night tonight. So obviously we've been talking about Darius Garland, Jimmy Butler all day. Yeah, I actually do like that. That's probably worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, I'm curious what the odds would be. Garland and Jimmy for sure. Williams does concern me a little bit more. Anytime there's kind of 2 centers on one team with Horford also being there, it's the same situation the Magic have with Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Bamba when healthy. So it's a little bit tough for me to figure out which guy necessarily has a good night, but it is obviously a great matchup on paper.
And
so
I'll say too, with them playing the Hornets today, that gives them the ability for Al Horford to stretch the court a lot more because the Hornets don't really have anyone that can play inside, and Rob Williams could probably dominate if he really wanted to. So I think it's more Rob Williams today if he wants a double-double, but I like it.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have NBA props back in the house, dropping in this week. He said he's grabbing Drummond boards at 6.5 versus Orlando. Could do some damage in garbage time. I think that's a good spot. Obviously, I want to know if Wendell Carter's playing. That's big news for me. I think on the DFS space as well. Seeing if he is out, that'd be huge news for this one as well. Last one, just because Jay's been in here the whole time. Any thoughts? We talked about it. That I think Vaughn mentioned 25 or 30 piece for Ant today. With my 225s, that would be an interesting one. I'm sure. I don't even know what Ant's line is for points. Do you guys know at all?
It was 21.5 when I looked, and I felt like that's a pretty fair price. Like, I mean, for us to bet the over when I say that, because that should be like 23.5 probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, he was my one of 2 bets I had last night. I had him over 19.5 points last night, and luckily he came through with a good first half there. And yeah, let's just finish up here. You guys have anything, any final words? Vaughn, you got anything for the people before we head off and pass the prop?
We'll have a show debuting called The Game Time tonight at 6 p.m. Wednesdays, it's going to be every Wednesday. I'll be on this week. But honestly, I learned a lot today. Hopefully I taught somebody else something today, but I learned a lot just from you guys' group chat and your awesome fans tuning in and asking questions because, I didn't know about some of these trends in these players. So now I have some stuff to work on moving forward. So I appreciate you guys for having me on. I appreciate everyone watching for also, commenting and getting in tune with us too. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. You got anything for the people, Mr. Monotone?
Yeah, man. I mean, we haven't had too many guests on this year. I feel like we like to kind of really pick, we don't want to just have anyone on the show. Not that we necessarily, set the bar super high. We're not revolutionizing anything here. But Vaughn really is like kind of a legend in this like industry. He's great at what he does. So make sure to follow Vaughn if you are not already doing that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and my last final thing here is obviously we have Pass the Prop in 48 hours over for NFL. We'll be on here again. Also, first time on screen with Vaughn. I've known you for like 2 years in the Twitter space, but I've never shared the screen with you. So thank you for coming on again. We have the YouTube and Twitters for both of these guys. Make sure you guys grab those in the description. For Vaughn's YouTube, I have the NBC Sports Edge link there. So make sure you go show some love over there, guys. I pop in whenever I see you tweeting out a live link. I always try to pop in, throw something there because you guys do a good job over there for sure. And we appreciate you popping on with us and sharing your knowledge.
No, thank you guys. And yeah, nothing but kind words for both of you guys. And you guys know I got nothing but respect for you guys. And yeah, hopefully whether it's NBC or not, you guys are going to be somewhere big time really soon, whether it's on yourself or doing whatever. But I'm excited to see the future and tonight's bets. So let's rock and roll, boys.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you in 48 hours for Pass the Prop NFL. Thank you guys for tuning in and for your questions, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.